Welcome to the Africa Diaspora News Channel, family. My name is Lynient Akotonou making this report. So do you know that the issue with land did not end with South Africa? Do you know that these guys, the folks with European ancestry, are also in Zimbabwe fighting for lands, fighting for reparations? You also heard that right. Fighting for reparations on a land that isn't theirs. I mean, fighting for equality in Zimbabwe, a land they once colonized. Fighting for equality in Zimbabwe, fighting for, in quote, their lands. I mean, this country you once colonized. This country you once took everything. Robert Mugabe did fight for their land. They know what this... Family, it's funny how that these guys come to African countries and they take over the land and then they go back to asking for reparations when the government decides to collect what was taken from them in the first place because it was ours. But you came to our lands, took what was ours, and majority of the farmers are white farmers. They own the lands. Now they're trying to do a redistribution to make it equal, to ensure that black farmers aren't just poor and suffering in Zimbabwe. They also have this land. And now we have these guys coming to say that, no, we want our money. What you paid us earlier wasn't enough. We want more. And yeah, South African farmers, or we'll say white Afrikaners, have shown them the way. So they've decided to reach out to President Donald Trump to help them collect their money. Let's check this out, family. Now, family, this story was released on the 25th of April, 2025. Now, a group of white farmers whose lands were seized during Zimbabwe's land reforms over 2 decades ago rejected a compensation deal and said it wants to reopen negotiations with the government. Now, we're going to run through this, family. About 4,000 white farmers lost their homes and a swath of land when the black majority country's then president, Robert Mugabe, launched the redistribution program in 2000. Now, Mugabe pointed to the need to address colonial era land inequities after the Southern African nation gained independence from white minority rule in 1980. Before this time, family, majority of the lands were owned by the white people. Let's get that right. Before they started shouting that they wanted reparations for the land taken from them and redistribution of the land, they owned majority of this land. Now, the finance minister said the government approved the disbursement of 3.1 million, equivalent to 1% of the total compensation claim of the $311 million. So these guys, their lands were taken, given to the original owners of the land. And then they go ahead to say that their lands were stolen from them and they need to be paid to be recompensated. They need reparations. They go ahead to say that the actual money is $311 million. Family, for a land that wasn't theirs in this... you guys weren't in Zimbabwe. You guys have European ancestry. They came during the colonial era, took over this land, owned the land, farm on this land. And now they had a redistribution program that just saw that Africans, black farmers, just get back their lands. Now these guys go ahead to say that they need reparations. And it's not $10 million. It's not 20. It's not 50. It's $311 million. Family. But yeah, they made a deal with the government. So the government said they were going to give them. That's the funny thing. I wonder why they did sign it. And according to the deal, farmers would receive 1% of their claim in cash, with the balance settled through issuance of treasury bonds over 10 years. Now, the first batch of 378 farmers has already been paid out of 740 farmers. The limited number of farmers who have accepted the government's revised deal have generally done so because they are destitute and require urgent funds for food, accommodation, and healthcare. Now, family, what do you have to say about this story? While I do not support them displacing people from their homelands and all, and then people don't have food to eat, now it's notable. We should note that these guys are not the original owners of this land. Their forefathers took them from the hands of these guys. Some ignorantly sold their lands to these guys. So now they're asking for reparations for this. And now they have reached out to President Donald Trump. Family. South African farmers have shown them the way, so they did take that part. Let's check it out. This is the story, family. White farmers are turning to President Donald Trump to help them secure compensation for land seized under former President Robert Mugabe more than 2 decades ago. Now, here's the funny thing. Zimbabwe controversially agreed to pay thousands of white Zimbabwean farmers compensation worth 3.5 billion in 2020, but the country's long-standing financial woes have stalled progress. Remember what President Donald Trump said about South African family, that they were not treated right, they were being abused, he called it genocide. I wonder what he's going to say about Zimbabwe, because controversially, disturbingly, this president or this leadership of Zimbabwe did sign an agreement to pay these white farmers. That's why they have the guts to do what they are doing, to reach out to President Donald Trump to help them get their money, because sadly, the Zimbabwe government actually signed an agreement with these guys. Yeah, so there is little to what we can say, because they did sign the agreement. It wasn't their land, but they signed the agreement. Well, what do you have to say about the story, family? This is the situation, and we are waiting on President Donald Trump. They are waiting, and we're going to see how the story pans out, because we know President Donald Trump, if it has to do with white people, he doesn't joke with them. He doesn't joke with them. Comment what you think about this story, because it's about to go South Africa way again, and we hope this time around it's not genocide. Comment your thoughts, and do not forget to share, like, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. My name is Lynient Akotonou. Thank you for